All right, another episode. Um, Not really much going on. I just kind of wanted to give an update because I haven't posted a video in a couple weeks. So as it stands right now, I am waiting for some welding gas. Those of you that caught my last video, I discussed about how I needed the exhaust, which is pretty much the last thing I've got for the swap. I had a mobile welder lined up to come out and get this done. He pretty much has ghosted me. We made arrangements. He had to cancel because of not being able to get gas himself. He said he was going to get it the next week. Said he got it. Was supposed to meet up the week after, and he never showed. He's not answering or returning calls, so pretty much has left me high and dry and 2 weeks behind. But I just decided I just bought my own setup. So I have a welder, a MIG welder. I didn't have a MIG welder before. I was actually flux core welding before. So I bought a MIG welder, bought some gas. I should say I've put in an order for gas, but the problem is that cylinders are back ordered right now, and they're not wanting to give up what cylinders they do have because of exchanges. I don't have a cylinder to exchange. So as of right now, it's telling me I've got about another 2 weeks before the back order date hits, and hopefully I'll have some gas so I can weld up the exhaust. So as of right now, we're still not moving. I don't know if I covered this in the last video, but I have a start tune, but my tuner wants me to give him some logs to tweak the idle before I go driving it around. So I can't do that until I have an exhaust because I need the O2s hooked up so that I can pull the data. That way he can get the air fuel correct for idle at least, and then we can start driving this thing. So while I'm waiting, I figured I would go ahead and do a few things. So I cleaned. As you can see, I don't really have any tools underneath there anymore. I've reinstalled my CBI covert. I got a little spot of rust there, a couple marks on the bottom side here and stuff like that. So I'll probably grind those down smooth and repaint this in the, at least in the spots. I believe it's satin. I believe it's satin Rust-Oleum is actually pretty much a perfect match to this. I've actually painted a few sections already from some off-road trips. I ordered a new Haas. As you can see, I don't know what happened here, but this is a pretty good nick, and I run synthetic rope, and I really don't want it to cut it. I'll probably file that down and maybe sell this one, but I wanted a ultra hook. I was running the ProLink before, but I really like the ultra hook and how it sits a little bit more recessed in here. The ProLink kind of looks like a nipple, but I decided to switch that up. I also bought a new winch rope. I'll show that when I get to that, reinstalling all this stuff. But I decided to remount the bumper, have that mounted. That way I can stand on it when I do some work on the engine. Nothing's really gone on here because I'm pretty much done except for the belts. I'll probably install those. Once I get the exhaust welded up, I'll go ahead and throw those on. I've got the AC fuse pulled so it won't engage the clutch, which is another reason why I haven't put the belts on, because I've been hearing sometimes even with the AC off, engage the clutch sometimes, and I don't have any oil at all in the AC system right now, so if that clutch engages, that compressor will be running dry, and I really don't want to do that. Also, while I'm waiting, I decided to start my regear. So, as you can see here, I have the axles pulled. Started pulling the carrier. Let's go around to the other side. My plan is to do the regear for the rear this weekend, and then next weekend pull the front and do the regear for the front. But I've got it dismantled. It's ready to pull the carrier so I can switch the gears over. One of my issues right now and why I'm not further along is I cannot for the life of me figure out how to depin this so I can feed it through and get the damn carrier out. I don't know what the heck. I've depinned connectors thousands of times and I've never seen one like this. I've got several depin tools. Nothing fits in there that does anything. Looking inside, I really cannot for the life of me figure out how in the hell to depin this thing. If anybody's got some ideas, go ahead and leave a comment. I'm going to try to throw this up today. I'm pretty much going to kind of stop working for the day. So I'll pick that up again in the morning. So if anybody watches this and they know how to depin this damn thing, please let me know so I can pull this thing out and start. Finish up my regear. Another thing, so I've seen a couple people have this issue. If you could see how loose this is, you know, obviously it's not connected, but you can see the edges there, how I have some wear. I've seen a couple other guys have that issue, and I'd really like to replace that. My issue is I've got to find that part. I'm not sure if that's sold separately. I can't find any of the threads of guys that I remember posting about that, but I need to search for that. So I've got a little bit of time once I pull this out and get my backlash and everything set and get the shims set. I'll probably be waiting to fully install this until I get this, because I'll end up having to basically take the carrier completely apart to get that out and replace it. But I'd really like to replace this, so today we'll be looking for this part. But yeah, I'm really not a big fan of how loose that is, or the wear. When it's attached, it's still loose, like the pin. It can slide with the pin. For those that don't know, this is actually the stop, and there's the pin that goes through here, and then the pin goes through the center of this, and then this goes through the pin to actually lock the pin in place. For those that don't know, this is the pin. There's where it goes through, the pin sits in there. That's what locks the spider gears in place, which is how the differential works. I have looked in here to see if I have any wear there, which may be what's causing what the effect of this would cause wear on the ramps, but they look fine. They look pretty normal. I'll show that in a future video. For those that don't know, so the way the locker works is you have power through this. When you hit the button, sends it to this part right here, which is an electromagnet. And as you can see, this is Let me get this to spin a little bit. If you see how this spins, you have this rod right here. There's a couple of them around this ring. So there's bearings inside here. When the electromagnet engages, this will move and allow this pin to ride up the ramp. And then as the pin rides up the ramp and goes this way, it engages the gear on this side. I could show that in a future video, especially if I find this part, because I'll end up taking all the guts out. And I'll try to get that in a video. But that's pretty much how the e-locker works. Pushes that pin, engages a gear, and then ends up allowing both tires to move forward. Therefore, lock differential. But yeah, hopefully I can get this out tomorrow, pull this out, and then I'll kind of go from there. I also have to order, so I won't have this back together until next weekend, because as you can see, this has actually been cleaned, just to show you how bad this looks. So for those that don't know, the way the Colorado is you have your brake rotor right here. As you can see, mine's all rusted from sitting. I have new brakes going on. But as you can see, the inside of the rotor is set up like a drum, and that is for your e-brake. So this whole mechanism here is the e-brake. I got some more cleaning to do. I've sprayed this thing off, but it's completely caked with mud. I wonder what the heck that is. Huh. Sorry about that. I didn't realize they had some grease in there. Must have packed the bearings with grease from the factory. But sorry about that. I got a little distracted. But I'm also going to replace the axle seal and the wheel bearings, since I have it all taken apart like this. Even though it only has 30,000 miles, they're not that expensive. I think the bearings are about $30 a piece for GM, and the seal I think is about $15. I'd rather just do it for peace of mind, knowing that it's new. So I'll go ahead and order those today, and I can get that done. But yeah, I've been pretty much ready. As you can see here, this is the 410 pinion. I've made some setup bearings. Those that don't know about doing the re-gear, so typically these bearings are pressed on. These are the exact same bearings that I'm putting in for the final assembly. So since they're the exact same, I have these ones that I've actually honed out. That way, while I'm doing the setup and making sure preload and the pattern is good, I will be using those set of bearings. That way they slip on and off easily, and I don't have to keep pressing them on and off to do the re-shim it. So I'll go ahead and do that. Get that all set up. Once it's finalized, then the installed bearings will get pressed on. And then that'll go in for the final installation with the crush washer and everything. But yeah, I've cleaned my table too. Pulled out my dial indicator for checking backlash. Pretty much ready. Have the press ready. It's just a matter of getting that damn thing depinned and then seeing if I could order that part for the actual carrier. Other than that, really not much has gone on. hopefully next weekend I'll get the front pulled, and then I'll show that. I did receive my RCV Ultimate CV axles as well, so that'll be nice when I put this thing back together. The front end, after I do the regear, you'll be able to see those. I'm going to do quite a bit of work to the front. I plan on taking off my sleeves, cleaning. I think some dirt probably got into the open end there, so I plan to take that off, clean everything. I'm going to take the uppers off. I bought the Delrin bushings, so I'm going to switch out the polyurethane to Delrins. So I'll be doing that. I'm going to probably reset my preload on the Kings. I haven't measured it since I put the bumper back on, but I've mentioned in another video that we're actually sitting higher than I was with the V6. So I plan to get a little bit of a different preload on there before I put it back completely together. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. I decided to do just a quick update video, go over the few things I'm working on, even though really not technically part of the swap, but I'll make this an episode within the swap because this is kind of doing one build all together with some stuff in addition to the swap. I do need to pull this exhaust off because my plan is the new exhaust will be 3-inch, and as it comes up there, it's going to dump right there. So that's where my tip's going to be. I want it high tucked. I don't want this hanging down because I'm still debating, but I'm still considering getting the Relentless high clearance rear where you cut that off. And so if I have the exhaust there already, it's already set up nice and tucked. All right, well, I'll go ahead and end it here, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.